Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. It gives great pleasure to this soul to share with you the 14th episode in the series of Saints of India. This soul sincerely thanks and presents its pranams to hindujnanajagrati.com for allowing to use the content from their portal. Additional information has been referred from srsmatha.org to complete this episode. Any addition or deletion may kindly be pardoned. In this 14th episode, this soul presents the life and teachings of Sri Raghavendra Swami. Sri Guru Raghavendra Swami is an influential 16th century Hindu saint who advocated Vaishnavism or worship of Vishnu as the supreme god, and Sri Madhvacharya's Dvaita philosophy. He ascended Vrindavana at Mantralayam in present-day Andhra Pradesh in 1671. His devotees' faith regarding his continued presence at his Vrindavan in Mantralayam, either in physical or metaphysical form, makes it a very popular religious destination in India. Legend mentions that Sri Raghavendra Swami is reincarnation of Shankukarna. Incarnation of Shankukarna are as follows: Bhakta Prahalada, Sri Balika, Sri Vyasatirtha, and Sri Raghavendra Tirtha. How many of us know about Shankukarna? If this soul needs to mention, he was dispatched to the Bhumiloka by Lord Brahma, paving way for Narsimhavatar. All of us know about Bhakta Prahalada, who stood all tests from his father and believed only in one name, Sri Hari. When his father challenged him to show his Sri Hari, Bhakta Prahalada said that he is present in a small twig to a huge pillar. When Hiranyakashipu, father of Bhakta Prahalad, tested the presence of Sri Hari in a nearby pillar with his mace, we had the opportunity of seeing Sri Narsimha. Unwanted company and circumstances forced a devout king of Lord Krishna to fight against the Pandavas. His name was Balika. He wished that he be killed by Bhima in the war so that in future births he can serve Bhima or Madhvacharya. This soul would like to take the listener to an earlier episode on the life of Sri Madhvacharya. On his return from Kashi, Sri Madhvacharya went to Kurukshetra and to a mound, where he unearthed a mace and said that it was the mace of Bhima. Connecting the incident and the point mentioned here, it becomes evident that Sri Madhvacharya was a reincarnation of Bhima. Let's continue with King Balika's request to be killed by Bhima. Bhima hesitated to kill a devotee of Lord Krishna, but Balika was unrelenting. Bhima then told him that he would kill him provided Balika strikes the first blow. When Balika did as ordered, Bhima hit him gently with his mace, which was enough to kill Balika. Balika was reborn as Vyasatirtha, a revered Madhva saint who created numerous hymns. Being an ardent devotee of Hari and Vayu, he established the temple at Entrodharaka, Hampi. Legend also mentions that Sri Vyasatirtha performed puja to Sri Balaji at Tirupati temple for 12 years. Vyasatirtha was reborn as Sri Venkatanatha or Rayaru. Sri Raghavendra Swami was born as Sri Venkanna Bhatta, the second son of Timmanna Bhatta and Srimadi Gopikamba, on Thursday, Shukla Sabdhami of Falguna month in 1595, when the moon was in Mrigashirisha Nakshatra at Bhuvanagiri near present-day Chidambaram in Tamil Nadu. Sri Timmanna Bhatta was the son of Sri Kanakachala Bhatta and the grandson of Sri Krishna Bhatta, a Veena scholar in the court of King Krishnadevaraya. Sri Timmana Bhatta and his wife Srimati Gopikamba had a son, Guru Raja Acharya, and a daughter, Venkatamba. Sri Venkana Bhatta was also called Venkatanatha or Venkatacharya in honor of Sri Venkateshwara at Tirupati, with whose blessings he was considered to have been born as a gift to his parents for their devotion and diligence towards the deity. Venkatanatha proved to be a very brilliant scholar. This greatness was visible even when he was a child. For example, he is supposed to have questioned his father as to how a small object like Om could capture the infinite greatness of God. However, his father did not live long enough to see the greatness of his son. He passed away when Venkatanatha was still at a very young age. Venkatanatha's brother took care of his upbringing. The initial portion of his education was under his brother-in-law Lakshmi Narasimhacharya of Madurai. Upon returning from Madurai, Venkatanatha was married to Saraswati, who was from a noble family. The Shastras say that for one who has control of his senses, wedded life does not hamper learning. For Venkatanatha, most of his learning occurred after marrying Saraswati through the blessings of Goddess Saraswati. So Venkatanatha went to Kumbakonam, the seat of learning at the time. There, he studied Dvaita Vedanta, advanced works on grammar, and other Shastras under Sudhindra Tirtha. He used to stay awake past midnight to write his own comments and notes on the lessons that had been done. He engaged in debate and defeated several scholars of opposing doctrines. One of them was Venkateshwara Dikshita, a famous scholar of the Tanjore court in 1620. Though his victory was not unexpected, Sudhindra Tirtha was surprised at his scholarship in grammar, profound knowledge, and rare debating skill and called him Mahabhashya Venkatanatha. Similarly, he explained the significance of Taptamudra Dharana, quoting several smritis that the opponents had to accept his arguments were irrefutable. Once while he was touring Kumbakonam, along with his wife, Sri Venkatanatha and his family were invited to attend a function. Unfortunately, the host did not treat him well and wanted him to earn his food by running a chore. So they asked him to make some sandalwood paste for all the invitees. Sri Venkatanatha, per his habit, was chanting stotras and mantras while preparing sandalwood for tilaka. When the guests applied this paste, it induced a burning sensation all over their bodies. Surprised by this, the host sought a clarification from Venkatanatha. He replied that the burning sensation was due to Agni Suktam, the hymn for the worship as defined in the historic Vedas, that he was chanting while preparing sandalwood, and thus eternal power of Vedic mantras revealed itself. This happens only when chanted with absolute dedication and devotion. The power is enhanced since it was chanted by someone as virtuous and devoted to Bhagavan Hari as himself. Upon realizing his devotion and power, the host apologized profusely to Sri Venkatanatha and sought his forgiveness. Thus, while his life was spent in the worship of God and service of humanity, his spiritual guru, Sri Sudhindra Tirtha, was looking for a successor to his math. He had a dream where the Lord indicated that Sri Venkatanatha would be the right person to succeed him as the pontiff. Sri Venkatanatha initially refused due to his responsibility towards his young wife and son, but was soon blessed by the goddess of learning, where she in a dream indicated that he was to seek salvation as a sannyasi. Sri Venkatanatha treated this as an omen and changed his mind. The sannyasa ordination took place in 1621 on the Falguni Sukla Dvitiya at Tanjore. On the day of Sri Venkatanatha's ascension into sannyashrama, his wife Srimati Saraswati was seized by a sudden desire to see her husband's face for the last time. She ran towards the matha, throwing caution to the winds, and accidentally drowned in an old and unused well on the way. Per the tenets of Hinduism, she became a ghost trapped midway between heaven and earth due to her untimely death. Since her last wish of seeing her husband was not fulfilled, her ghost went to the matha to witness the ordaining function. However, by the time she arrived, her husband had become a sannyasi, Sri Raghavendra Tirtha. However, Sri Guru Raghavendra could immediately sense his wife's presence with his spiritual powers. He sprinkled some holy water from his kamandalu on her as a means of granting her last wish. This action granted her moksha or liberation from the cycle of births and deaths and was considered her reward for a lifetime of dedicated and selfless service to Sri Raghavendra Swami. During Sri Raghavendra Swami's time at Kumbakonam, the Tanjore district as a whole was reeling under the effects of a severe 12-year-long drought. The Maharaja of Tanjore approached Swamiji for spiritual solace and was advised to perform some yajnas. No sooner were these rites performed was the region flush with rain and prosperity. As a mark of gratitude, the Maharaja gifted the matha with a necklace embellished with precious stones. Swamiji offered the necklace as a contribution to a yajna that he was performing then. The Maharaja took affront at this action. When Swamiji realized this, he immediately put his hand into the Homakunda and retrieved the necklace in a condition identical to which it was given to him by the king. Neither the necklace nor Swamiji's hand showed any indication of having been in a raging fire. This incident only served to reaffirm the greatness of Swamiji and converted the Maharaja of Tanjore into an ardent Bhakta. Sri Raghavendra Swami embarked on a tour of South India, spreading the Dvaita philosophy and visiting famous pilgrimage centers such as those at Rameshwaram and Sri Rangam. At Rameshwaram, he clarified the origins of the Shivalinga as the one that was installed by Lord Rama himself before his journey to Lanka to fight Ravana. In this context, he also clarified that Ravana was a Rakshasa since he was born to a Rakshasi mother and Brahmin father. He rebuffed the claim made by some scholars that Lord Rama as the Supreme One is not bound by Brahmahatya dosha or any other doshas for eliminating Ravana. He also travelled to Kanyakumari, Thiruvananthapuram and Madurai, where he met his Purvashrama brother-in-law with whom he had spent a large part of his childhood. As part of his yatras, he travelled to Vishnu Mangala, Kukke Subramanya and Udupi in Karnataka amongst other such spiritual centers and impressed one and all with his mastery of Dvaita philosophy, won many admirers, gained many devotees and published stellar works of literature and philosophy, some of which were carried around in processions of elephants as a mark of respect for its brilliance. On a hot summer day, Sri Raghavendra Swami was on his way home from a pilgrimage. He decided to rest in the shade of a tree at Krishnapuram near Hubli. While there, he saw the Nawab walking towards him with a sad demeanor. The Nawab had heard of his miracles and had come to him as a last resort. He stated that his young son had died from a poisonous snake bite and been buried in a tomb close by. After hearing this, he contemplated silently for a few moments and then asked the king to take the body out of the tomb. When the puzzled Nawab did as he was asked, Swami sprinkled holy water from his kamandalu and prayed to his Aradhyamurti, favorite form of the Lord. Lo behold, the young boy woke up as though he was getting up from sleep. The Nawab was beside himself with joy. Much after the above incident had occurred, Sri Raghavendra Swami got an opportunity to meet the Nawab of Adoni face to face. The Nawab instead of being respectful to him, decided to test his spiritual skills and placed before the Swamiji a plate of non-vegetarian delicacies completely covered with a piece of cloth in the guise of offering alms. Per Hindu customs, alms are customarily offered to a visiting saint to seek his blessings. Swamiji took some water from his kamandala, meditated and sprinkled it on the covered plate as part of his regular practice of purifying any food before consumption. He then opened the plate. It contained fresh fruits. The Nawab immediately became remorseful and became an ardent devotee of Swamiji then on. As an apology, he offered to give the Swamiji any amount of land and wealth. While Swamiji refused any such gift for his personal gains, he asked that the land around Manchali, present-day Mantralayam, which was part of the Nawab's kingdom, to be handed over to his matha. Though the Nawab of Adoni offered to give him a more fertile region, Sri Raghavendra Swami insisted on the dry and barren region around Mantralayam on the banks of the Tungabhadra river. Many years later, he told a devotee that it was a region where King Prahalad had performed his yajnas to Lord Rama during the Dwapara Yuga and was hence an extremely holy land. Thus the Matha moved to Mantralayam, where Sri Raghavendra Swami continued his spiritual journey. At Mantralayam, Sri Guru Raghavendra encouraged Annadanam or donation of food to all devotees. It is a practice that is followed by the Matha to this date and is heavily subsidized by donations. On Dvitiya day of Shravana Krishna Paksha in 1671, Raghavendra Swami gave a soul-stirring speech to hundreds of devotees who had gathered to watch the event. Some quotes from the speech are as follows: "Without right living, right thinking will never come. Social work done for the good of worthy people should also be considered as the Lord's worship. Always keep away from people who merely perform miracles. Right knowledge is greater than any miracle. Have devotion to the Lord. This devotion should never be blind faith." Sri Raghavendra Swami attained Jiva Samadhi on Dvitiya day of Shravana Krishna Paksha in 1671. This date is celebrated each year as Sri Raghavendra Swami Aradhana at Vrindavans all over the world. The Raghavendra Matha in Mantralaya, housing his Vrindavan, is visited by thousands of devotees every year. This soul sincerely hopes that you enjoyed this podcast. If you would like to support this project, you may kindly contribute through patreon.com. Details of the same are given in the description. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.